Sunday, October 1, the God who reaches out to us. God created us in his image and likeness. He gave us a perfect world, and his purpose was that we should live in perfect connection with him, a relationship centered in his most precious attribute, love. But for love to be real, God also gave us another precious gift, free will, the freedom to choose which way to follow. Of course, God gave clear instructions to Adam and Eve about the danger and deadly consequences of disobedience in Genesis chapter 2, verses 16 and 17. Let's read that. "And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day you eat of it you shall surely die." Satan, in turn, deceptively persuaded Eve that she could eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but without any negative results. On the contrary, he claimed that they would, as it says in chapter 3, verse 5, be like God, knowing good and evil. Unfortunately, Eve chose to eat and gave the fruit to Adam, who made the same choice. The perfect creation, then, was stained by sin. That moment changed God's original plan and purpose for the newly created planet Earth. The mission of salvation, which had been designed, as it says in Ephesians 1 verse 4, before the foundation of the world, had now to be implemented. Read Genesis chapter 3, verses 9 through to 15. What was God's first words to Adam after he and Eve fell, and why is that statement so significant theologically even today? Genesis 3, beginning at verse 9. "Then the Lord God called to Adam and said to him, Where are you? So he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told you you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? Then the man said, The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And the Lord God said to the woman, What is this you have done? The woman said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate. So the Lord God said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle, and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go, and you shall eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." Of course, God knew exactly where they were. Dominated by fear, Adam and Eve were the ones who needed to see what was going on. But they also needed to be confronted so they could understand the dreadful consequences of their sin. Satan also needed to be defeated. For that, God then began to present his mission, the plan of redemption, as we read in Genesis 3, 14 and 15. Again, because you have done this, you are cursed more than all cattle and more than every beast of the field. On your belly you shall go, and you shall eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. The only hope of reconciling the world to himself, as we read in 2 Corinthians 5:19. We need to pay close attention, however, to the fact that before the confrontation and the promise of reconciliation, God came looking for fallen humanity. In spite of the seemingly hopeless situation, God essentially addresses two issues in his question to Adam: our fallen state and his missionary nature. We are lost and in desperate need of salvation. He is the one who finds us with the determination to save and to be with us. So to finish today, throughout history, God continues to ask, Where are you? In your personal experience, what does this mean for you, and how have you answered him?
This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind.
Sponsored by the Sabbath School Department and distributed through Hope Channel Australia, this podcast is also redistributed by Hope Channel Germany, Christian Record Services for the Blind. It is also available on SoundCloud and through multiple podcast distributors, including Apple iTunes. And you can listen and watch at the same time on YouTube. Remember, God is always faithful.